Welcome students to another bio class. Today's topic will continue with the previous day that we took the class, that flower. But before I start the class today, I'll quickly have a rapid fire, your Viva questions. I'll call out some Viva questions. Are you ready? But as soon as I call out the question, immediately you should think about the answer. And if you have a paper and pen, you must write it down. Okay? If you're able to answer all five, it's just a quick 2 minutes work. If you're able to answer, very good, you know everything. If you are not able to, that means you need more practice. Okay? No cheating. No cheating. Just be honest to yourself. Okay? The first 5 Viva question, quickly. All one word answer, right? Now, I'll show you these two. I used one word in the previous class to show the difference between one flower and many flowers on one stalk. What is the word I used to show the difference? First question. Second one, which are the two parts of the flower which are called the reproductive whorls? Second. Third one, what are the different parts of the androecium? What is androecium made out of and its different parts? Fourth one, what is the function of stigma? And the fifth one, what is the stalk of the flower called? The stalk of the flower, what is it called? Finish. 5 questions, Viva, as we do in class. I ask a question and you have to give the answer immediately. I hope you have answered, and I hope all have been able to answer and you know your lesson very well. Otherwise, go for a revision. Right? So now today we start with the second part of the same chapter, that is flower part 2. Now, part 2 flower, before I start the pollination, today we'll have the functions. In the part 2 today we'll do the functions and pollination. This is another new word you are learning. Okay, what are the functions of a flower? You have studied the 4 different worlds and their functions. What are the functions? The first one we can say, most important thing we say, beautification. The flowers make our surroundings beautiful, right? So we can say they are mostly second one. What do? They give us they're not us, but rather for the pollination, they form the seeds. From where the seeds are formed, they form the fruits. So we get all the fruits. We are eating different types of fruits. All the fruits are formed from the flower. Which particular part of the flower we are going to learn now. So they form the fruits with the seeds. From the seeds, what happens? New plants are grown. So they help in reproduction. That is also called that's why flower is called, we discussed the other day, flower is called the reproductive part of the plant. Okay, next one, they produce nectar. They produce nectar. You know, from the flowers, different type of the lotions, perfumes, what are made? Perfumes. You know, rose petals are used in the food also. And another very important, you will be surprised to know, flowers give us spices also. Cloves. Used in garam masala, the cloves. That is the dried flower of the cloves plant. So mainly flowers are used for the beautification. Flowers, you know, the flowers are grown on the plants, and green plants are absolutely necessary to us. Without them, there will be no life. And the flowers, they produce the fruits. Inside the fruits, the seeds. Seeds will grow into the new plants, and this way, whole plant world will be surrounding us, and that will have the connection between the plants and the animals, or with us only. So these are the common function of the flowers. Now next will be 2 types of flowers are there. we use. One is called the complete and the other one is called the incomplete. What do you mean by that? Complete means which have got all the four whorls: calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. When all the four whorls are present in a flower, that flower is called a complete flower. Like we have seen other day the hibiscus. This hibiscus flower or the China rose, you have seen calyx, corolla, androecium, and in the center the gynoecium whorl, right? And which one is called the incomplete flower? The flower which does not have all the four whorls. They might have calyx, corolla, may not have androecium, gynoecium, or they may have androecium, they may not have gynoecium. So any one of the four whorls, if it is absent, it will be the incomplete. The most common one is maize. You have seen the maize plant. Have you noticed lower part of the plant, they have the male flowers with androecium, and the upper part has got the female flower, the hairy like thing that come out from the flower, they are the stigma, they are hanging out into the air. So the hairy part that comes out from the flower, that's the female part, and that is the stigma. Clear? So complete and incomplete, two types of the flowers, whether having four whorls or any one of the four whorls will be missing. Clear? Now we go to the next one. That is the pollination. Now we do the cycle, full cycle we will do. You have done root and stem earlier. You have done the leaves. Now we are doing the flower, from the flowers, the fruit and the seed, from the seed, the germination, new plant. So full life cycle we are going to complete. So we start with the different, you can say the functions of the flower, or we can say different phases for the formation of a new plant. So we start with pollination. Does this name strike something in you? The word, can you connect the word with something that we have already done? Pollination. Does it seem similar to you with pollen? Yes, pollen grains. Pollination is a process carried out by the flower. Which function is the pollination? It is the process by which, listen very carefully, the process by which the pollen grains, where are the pollen grains produced? In the anther. Anther produces the pollen grains. In short, we call them pollen. Anthers are producing pollen. The process by which these pollens from the anther are transferred to the stigma. Stigma is in which part? The female reproductive part, that is in the carpel or pistil, whatever you call it, either carpel or pistil. So this is the male part of the flower and this is the female reproductive part of the flower, right? So what is the function? Pollination, process by which pollens produced in the anther are transferred to the stigma of the carpel or pistil. This process is called pollination. Pollen grains taken from where to where? From the male part to the female part. Which is the male part? The anthers. Anthers are the male part. And which is the female part? The stigma is the female part. So the process, pollination, now it can be of two types. What are the two types of pollination? One is self, the other is cross. Self and cross. What do we mean by self and cross? That means, self means within the same. Self means within the same flower. Now what happens? This is a flower, right? Many flowers are there, inflorescence. Now when the pollen grains from one flower are falling on the stigma of the same flower, Get it very clearly. Pollen grains of one flower falling on the stigma of the same flower, or on the different flower but on the same plant. Two things: pollen grains falling from the anther in the same flower or the different flower, but it has to be on the same plant. That is called the self-pollination. So self-pollination means pollen grains transfer from anther to stigma of same flower or different flower but same plant. Now cross-pollination, that means it will be just opposite. That means cross-pollination means when the anthers, or you can say the pollen from the anthers of one plant or the one flower from one plant will be transferred to the another flower of a different plant. Same species, but plant has to be different. So what are the 2 points you are learning here? Keep it in your mind. Here, for self-pollination, plant is same. For self-pollination, plant is same. Flower may be same, may be the same flower, or flower may be different. Alright? This is what you have to remember. That means, but this self-pollination, for that what has to be very important? It has to be a bisexual flower. The flower which should have androecium and gynoecium both within it. It should have the male and the female, both the parts here. Then only the pollen from the male part will fall on the stigma of the female part. Okay? Now what is for cross-pollination? The plant is different. If the plant is different, obviously the flower will be also different also. For cross-pollination, plant is different. So it's very simple. Pollination is only pollen grains from anther to the stigma. Now if it is the same flower or the same flower on the same tree, like it has got so many flowers, it can be in the same or it can be on any other flowers. So this will be the self-pollination. But cross means from this plant to another plant when it travels, that's called the cross-pollination. Okay, so this is the self and cross-pollination. What is pollination? It is just transference. Pollination is nothing, just transference. Transference of pollen grain. If you remember, I'll just rub it this side. Just quickly, this is the anther and filament. This is the stamen you have done. And this is, you have done the stigma, style and ovary with ovule inside. This is stigma, style and ovary and ovule. You have done this. So from pollen grains from here, transferring to stigma, that is the pollination. So 2 types, self and cross. Okay, now when we talk about the cross pollination, we have to think about another point. What is that? Who will take it? How will they be transferred from anther to the stigma? Who will take it from one plant to the other or carry it? So for cross pollination, we need various agents. Various agents are there. What are the different agents? It can be insects, we can say agents of cross pollination. Insects, birds, air, water. So for cross-pollination, for pollen grains to be transferred, it can be either by birds. You have seen the butterflies, the bees roaming around in the flowers, sit on one flower, they go to the other flower, they visit the different flowers. How do they bring out the pollination? What type of flowers are needed for this pollination, this type of pollination? Obviously, petals have to be very brightly colored. They have to attract the insects for pollination. Brightly colored, producing nectar, producing sweet smell so that insects will be attracted. Birds will come and attract. They'll put their beak into the inside to drink the nectar. So when they sit on any flower, what happens? The lower part of this flower, suppose one flower is sitting on, one insect, butterfly is sitting on this. What will happen? All this pollen grains here, on this here, the anther, they get brushed with the body, lower part of the body of the insect. Same insect, when it's going and visiting the other flower, what will happen? The stigma is sticky. You remember we did. So it gets stuck to the stigma. So automatically they are bringing about the cross-pollination. Flowers have to be very brightly colored, big, producing sweet smell, producing nectar, and they will be pollinated by the insects or the birds. Most common insects we see butterflies, the bees. Birds also have seen different type of buds coming, sort of coming and sitting on the flowers. For this agent, do the flowers have to be colorful and bright and big? No. Why? Because they are carried by the wind. They are pollinated by the wind. So the main important thing, pollen grains have to be very light. Small, light, plenty in number. Why? Because as they are being carried out by the wind from one plant to the other, many of them will drop off. They might not get the proper place to grow. They might not get the proper stigma to grow. So what happens? There must be in abundance, plenty, tiny, light. For that, flowers need not be colorful, need not produce the nectar, need not produce the sweet smell. But they have to produce the pollen grains light, plenty, so that they can easily be carried by wind. As they are being carried by wind, they drop off somewhere in between on the different plants and the pollination is affected. This one, the water one, what is the agent? Obviously, this will be all the aquatic plants. Water pollination will take place in the aquatic. This is very common, maize. And this you can give any example. Maize. And this is aquatic. Hydrilla plant. You have seen the hydrilla plant for some experiments. So hydrilla, the plants which are in the water. So what happens? The male and the female flowers, even if they are separate, they are different. As with the water current, the anther might be carried out by the water current, and where the stigmas are hanging, floating, they come across, they get stuck there, and they bring about. For that also, they don't have to be very producing the nectar or very brightly colored flowers. It's a very simple thing. Just you apply your common sense, you will be able to answer all the questions. So the agents, we discuss about the cross-pollination. Now for cross-pollination, some agents are needed who will take it from one place to the other. So what are the different agents? Insects, birds, wind, or the water. Sweet smell, nectar producing, brightly colored flowers here. Flowers may not be very conspicuous, they have to produce large number of pollen grains, light and sort of in abundance, and this aquatic plants also carried by the water and taken to the stigma. Wherever they get the stigma in between, they get stuck because stigma is sticky, and they get, this is the pollination. Very easy. Pollination you have done today, self and cross and the various agents. Just see the video. Any question, you write it down. We'll continue the next step on the next day. Till here today. Okay, bye.